Welcome back, students. Here in this session, we are going to learn about the Bryophyta, the second class of the second subclasses under the plant kingdom. So we have completed the algae group. Now we are going to the Bryophyta. Just you can see in the chart what are the members of Bryophyta. Okay. So what are the members? You can see Funaria here. Then Rixia also there. Okay, then you can see there is Anthocerus. So these are the some example which comes under Bryophyta. So let us understand about the Bryophyta in detail. So Bryophyta, it's one of the primitive plant group because the plant group which does not have the vascular tissue. Primitive group of plant which does not have a vascular tissue. So what are vascular tissue? Vascular tissue means a group of complex tissue which includes xylem and phloem, which helps for the conduction of water. So usually a evolved or highly developed plants will have this system, vascular system, for conducting the water and minerals. But this is not evolved and it's a primitive kind of plant. So these vascular tissues are absent in this kind of bryophytes. Okay, and let us understand about their habitat. The terrestrial, see, so far algae is completely aquatic, but this is one of the simplest primitive group of plant as well as terrestrial plants of moist habitat. And it is terrestrial plant, but only can be seen in the moist habitat. Okay, that is about their peculiarity. Now let us understand about their distribution. So it includes mainly mosses and liverworts. Mosses and liverworts. You can look into the chart where you can see the mosses and liverworts. Okay, so this is the mosses and these are the liverworts. Okay, so this bryophytes includes some of the liver-shaped liverworts. Meaning name is because their shape was like a liver. So they have they are like liverwort completely attached to the substratum. They will be flat and one will be having an erect elongated structure, that is a mosses. So it includes mosses and liverworts, and it is found growing in the moist shaded areas, mainly in the, it can be seen only in the moist shaded areas, mainly in the hills and all. And you can also observe in the rocks and all, rocky shores and all, you can observe more. And many times it causes the slippery nature, right? We might have slipped off because of this bryophyte. Only biophytes are very commonly can be seen in those areas during the rainy season. Now, important thing is that bryophytes are called as, the common name for this is that they are called as amphibians of the plant kingdom. Can you say why they are called as amphibians of the plant kingdom? They are called as amphibians. Amphibians means you don't tell that they can survive both in land and water. That is a different case in the case of animals. Here, these amphibians, it is because they can grow in the soil but depend on the water to complete their life cycle. So it is known as amphibians of the plant kingdom. So why bryophytes are called as amphibians of the plant kingdom? Because these plants can live in soil, but plants can live in soil but require water. Why they require water? To complete their life cycle. To complete their life cycle, they require water. To complete their life cycle, they require water. So that's why it is known as amphibians of plant kingdom. They can live in soil. They'll be living in soil, but to complete their life cycle, they have to take the help of water. Without the medium of water, they cannot complete their life cycle. That is one aspect of bryophytes. Let us understand about their distribution. Now, already I told you, they are completely non-vascular plants. Okay, you may see like structures can be seen like that, but actually they don't have any vascular tissues and they do not have any lignin deposition on their tissues. So they are completely non-vascular plants, and where they can be seen, they can be usually occur in the very dark, at the sense damp means damp, very moist conditions, shady places, and even sometimes you can see in the sandy region also. You can also observe in the damp, humid, shaded localities. Okay. Now, do they have any significance? They have a very important significance to form the plant succession on the rocks. For example, if the flood has come to an area and completely removed all the plant habitat in that area, means the first one to colonize on that area is the bryophytes, because they will start to develop in the, if the moist condition is there, means they start to develop. So obviously that develops into that helps for other plants to survive, as well as some other animals will come to feed on that, so that like that colony will start to develop. So they are the first significance, is that significance of bryophyta. One significance, we are going to learn about their economic importance at the end, but this is also important. They are the first to colonize on rock. First plant to colonize on rocks, it is bryophyta. Then also let us understand their body structure. So there is a diagram given in your textbook showing about their structure. Okay, so you can see there is the green like that structure showing. So because one is like this and one more is this one, this structure is given. Okay, this is a liverworts. And here there is a dorsiventrally, they will be suppressed. Okay, they have a branched leaf-like structures are there. Along with that, small root-like structure can be seen, that is rhizoids. And there can be a structure called as gemma cups. I'll tell you what is the gemma cups later. Okay, and they can have male and female reproductive organ. Okay, so let us understand first about their body structure. Here their body consists of, here the plant body of bryophytes is more differentiated than of algae. Okay, it is thallus-like only, but it is more differentiated than algae. Okay, it is thallus-like and it has erect, then slender, prostate or erect, prostate or erect, elongated structure, and they have a unicellular or multicellular rhizoids. Unicellular or multicellular rhizoids. Rhizoids means here that root-like structures are called as rhizoids. Okay, it can be unicellular, or that means they can be made up of one cell, or sometimes they can be made up of many cells. So it has a unicellular or multicellular rhizoids, which helps for absorbing water and all, but it's not a true roots. Then, but even though they have these structures, like it has a substratum, it can be thallus is there. It can be attached to the substratum by a unicellular, multicellular rhizoids. Then, even though it looks like a stem, root and all, they does not have a proper roots, stem, leaf like structures are completely absent among these bryophytes. So got clear about this much. So main plant body of this bryophyte, let us understand about their alternation of generation. You know what is alternation of generation? You are going to study in the end of this chapter, the plant body usually exhibit two generation. Okay, in the sense a plant can develop from a seed, right? That seed is develops into a plant. From the plant, it starts to develop the fruits, seeds and all. So that seed develops into another plant. Here, one part of that generation, they exhibit two types of generation. One is gametophytic, the another one is sporophytic. Okay, one is gametophytic and sporophytic. In higher group of plants group, the sporophytic generation is dominant. Whereas in lower groups of plants, gametophytic generation is dominant. So in case of bryophyte, the gametophytic generation is prominent. So which is prominent? The gametophytic generation is prominent. Where in case of bryophyte. Okay, here why it is gametophytic? So plant body here it is gametophyte. So that means it can produce the gametes. So always gametes are haploid in nature because they contain single sets of chromosomes. Only when they fuse two gametes fuse together, then they forms the diploid condition. So some students may not be cleared about that haploid and diploid. You will get to know as that chapter moves forward with the various units. Okay, so they exhibit gametophytic generation and there produces gametes. So what is this? Gametophyte means the plant body produces gametes. Then it is called as gametophyte. So in the case of a plant life cycle, I told you there will be alternation of generation can be seen. So what is that? Alternation of generation, two types of alternation generation. One is sporophytic generation and one more is, what's another type? It is gametophytic generation. Here, in the case of bryophyte, the plant body can produce the gametes. So that is called as gametophyte. So here, plant body itself is gametophyte. It can produce the gametes. And in the case of bryophytes, the gametophytic generation is dominant. So main plant body of this bryophyte is haploid. Why it is known as gametophyte? Because it can produce the gametes. So it is known as gametophyte. So which generation or which alternation of generation which is dominant in their life cycle? Is it gametophyte or sporophyte? It is gametophyte. So gametophytic generation is dominant, or you can also say it is prominent. Now let us understand about their reproduction. So one diagram already I drawn here. Let me draw another diagram showing the so here male and female reproductive organs can be present in the same or can be seen in the different individual. So this I'll tell you about this Gemma curves. Now let me draw here. I told you there can be two types of reproductive organs can be observed, right? So one will be in this form. Then you can observe these changes when you observe it in the closed form. When you observe it in the closed form, you can see that changes. Here, the male reproductive organ is called as antheridium, whereas female reproductive organ is called as archegonium. Male reproductive organ is called as antheridium. Female reproductive organ is called as archegonium. Otherwise, you can also call it as archegoniospore and antheridiopore. These are the Gemma cups. Then here are the rhizoids, multicellular or unicellular rhizoids, which helps for their attachment into the substratum. Then here, let us understand in detail now what are the how the sexual reproduction completes. So I told you sex organs in the bryophytes are multicellular. They can produce male or female gametes in the same or in the different individual. The male reproductive organ is called as antheridium. Female reproductive organ is called as archegonium. Understand the difference. With the difference is only, now you can make out, only there is a spelling change is there, but actually they are completely different from each other. So I'll just show you the structure of that antheridium having the finger-like structure in which the gametes are produced. Okay, so in this, the gametes are produced here. Okay, that means the sperms are produced in this case. So it produces biflagellated antherozoids. This will produce biflagellated antherozoids. That means antheridium will produce the gametes, which is called as antherozoids, or it can also be called as sperms. Okay, and there will be several sperms can be produced, but only one can fuse with the female egg. Okay, so this is a female reproductive organ which have the venter and neck. Okay, here it has a structure like this with the opening here. So when the antherozoids are released, one of the sperm, only one of them can get fused in this. Through this it will enter and get fused here. Okay, so here to release this anther, for the dehiscence of the anther they require water. Then for the movement of this sperm they require water. Then opening of this venter, neck of the venter also. So let me, this is a venter, it's not there in your textbook, just to make you clear about this concept. So the sperms are released through the water and it is carried through the water and gets fused with this egg. Okay, so what does it produces? It produces a single egg. So this is a male reproductive organ, that is antheridium and archegonium. Its structure in close view. Then the antherozoids are released into the water, and with the help of the external water medium, they'll swim through the water and reaches to the archegonium in the venter. Okay, and through this opening of their neck, they can, one of the sperm can fuse with this a single egg. And what does the forms when they two together fuses? The antherozoids fuses with the egg to produce a zygote. So this antherozoids fuses with this, okay, and forms a zygote. And I told you already, zygote is a diploid in condition, and this zygote will not undergo meiosis immediately. Usually zygote in other condition and all undergoes meiosis and it proceeds with the meiotic division. But here this zygote will not undergo meiosis immediately. Then once it undergoes meiosis, then it produces a multicellular sporophyte. So this zygote, once it undergoes division, then it produces, what does it produces? It produces a multicellular sporophytic body. The zygote undergoes meiosis and produces a sporophytic body. Okay, you may, I know now you may find difficult to grasp and picturize these concepts. Okay, you can make it clear if you take the help of the pictures. Okay, you can observe some of the images shown in the internet, that will help you. And mainly, and I can understand, you may get confused with the gametophyte and sporophyte. It comes to you a little bit in a difficult form. So actually on the plant ಬಾಡಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಎರಡು ತರ ಜನರೇಷನ್ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು. ಒಂದು ಗ್ಯಾಮೆಟ್ಸ್ ಮೂಲಕ ಅಥವಾ ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಸ್ ಮೂಲಕ. ಓಕೆ, ಆ ಗ್ಯಾಮೆಟ್ಸ್ ಮೂಲಕ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆಗೋ ಜನರೇಷನ್ಗೆ ಗ್ಯಾಮೆಟೋಫೈಟಿಕ್ ಜನರೇಷನ್. ಇನ್ನು ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಸ್ ಮೂಲಕ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆಗುವ ಜನರೇಷನ್ಗೆ ಸ್ಪೋರೋಫೈಟಿಕ್ ಜನರೇಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋದು. ಇದಷ್ಟೇ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೇಳೋದಾದ್ರೆ ಇಷ್ಟೇ. ಈ ಯೂಶ್ವಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಈ ತರ 2 ಆಲ್ಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಜನರೇಷನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಒಂದು ಗ್ಯಾಮೆಟೋಫೈಟಿಕ್ ಜನರೇಷನ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಒಂದಷ್ಟು ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಸ್ಪೋರೋಫೈಟಿಕ್ ಜನರೇಷನ್ ಕಾಣಿಸುತ್ತೆ. ಒಂದೊಂದು ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಸ್ಟೇಜ್ ಡಾಮಿನೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಎಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ಈ ಕೇಸಲ್ಲಿ ಬ್ರಯೋಫೈಟ್ ಕೇಸಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದು ಡಾಮಿನೆಂಟ್? ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ gametophytic generation is dominant. ಏನು gametophyte means? Gametophyte means a plant body which can produce the gametes. It's called as gametophytes. So they release the gametes, right? You know that male and female gametes are there usually in the organism. Here also it is produced in the different structure. Either it can be produced the same or can be different. If that male reproductive organ is called as antheridium, female reproductive organ is called as archegonium. The antheridium releases the anthrozoids or sperm with the help of water, and here archegonium releases a single egg, and with the help of water the sperms are released, or these anthrozoids swim and reaches to the egg and fuses and forms a zygote, and this zygote undergoes meiosis and produces a sporophyte. Then this sporophyte is not free living. Okay, so this sporophyte is a multicellular. It is multicellular and not free living. That means it will be attached to the body. Okay, which body? Gametophytic body. It is not free living. It is found attached to the gametophytic body. Then it derives nourishment from them. So why it is not free living? Because it will be found attached to this body itself for getting nourishment. Okay, so they are not free living, found attached to the gametophytic plant body for the nourishment. Nourishment means to get the nutrients. That is called as, for the nourishment they will be still attached to the gametophytic plant body. Then what happens to that sporophyte? The some of the cells of the sporophyte undergoes which division? It undergoes meiotic cell division and produces the spores. So just now I told you, once it completes the generation through gametes, in other half of their life they'll continue their generation with the help of spores. Now gametophytic generation is completed. Then now they are moving to the sporophytic generation. So sporophyte undergoes meiotic divisions. So some cells of the sporophyte undergoes meiotic cell division and produces the spores. And these spores are haploid and they are found multicellular, and it is found the spores are multicellular, right? The spores are multicellular. Then these spores will germinate and produce a new plant. So these spores germinate to produce a gametophyte. So this is a multicellular. The spores undergo germination and again it produces the gametophytic plant body, thereby the same cycle repeats. Got cleared? So sporophyte undergoes meiotic division and produce haploid spores. These spores germinate to produce a gametophyte. So this is about their so that's why you can say that bryophyte shows the heteromorphic alteration of generation. They can show the heteromorphic alternation of generation. So I take down that also. Bryophytes show bryophytes exhibit heteromorphic alternation of generation. That means they have both the gametophytic as well as sporophytic generation. That's why they exhibit the heteromorphic. What will exhibit? Bryophytes will exhibit the heteromorphic alternation of generation, as they show both the sporophytic and gametophytic generation in their life cycle. So this much is about the bryophytes. let us understand the significance of the bryophytes. Okay, so significance of economic importance of bryophytes. Usually it is considered that it is having a little importance than the other plant group, but still they are useful. Some of them are used for various purposes. So here, first importance is that they can be used as a food for herbaceous animals, right? They are the food for many herbaceous animals. They are the food for many herbaceous animals. Then they provide peat that can be used for fuels, that can be used as a fossil fuels. Then they also help in reducing the soil erosion. Okay, so how they helps in reducing soil pollution? Yes. Then they were the first, I already told you, they are first to colonize on rocks along with the lichens. You know about the lichens? The lichens are the symbiotic association between algae and fungi. So they are helpful for the colonizing the rocks, as well as if the lichens are there, the herbaceous animals will graze on that, which provide them as a form of food. Lichen. Then they also helps to reduce soil erosion. Why? Because these mosses and bryophytes usually forms a dense mat on the soil, so that it holds the soil particle together, so that it helps to reduce the soil erosion. Then also they are useful for transshipment, because they can be helps for holding water substance. So they are used for transshipment. They are used for the transshipment because as they have water holding substance in them, so they helps for the transportation. So they can hold the water presence in them, so can be used for the transshipment. So that can be used for the packing material as well as. Then some of the bryophytes also have some of the medicinal importance, as well as for curing some of the diseases, mainly for kidney stones, as well as for the diseases related to the gallbladder. So we have completed the bryophytes. So in bryophytes, we have understood that they are the primitive group of plants, which includes mosses and liverworts. Okay, so both are non-vascular plants, do not have vascular tissues, but they have important role as they are first to habitat, colonize on rocks. So they have the primitive role on making a colony in the habitat. Then about their structure, they are attached to substratum with the help of rhizoids. Then they are also having a well developed, but it's not having a true stem or root like structures, but still they have that structures which helps for their attachment to the rocks or substratum, as well as they have reproductive organ which is known as antheridium and archegonium, in which the anthrozoids and egg is produced, where it fuses together to form the zygote, which later develops into sporophyte. So their alternation of generation can be seen, which continues with the, what is that? First is gametophyte and sporophyte, and which is a dominant phase in their life cycle. The dominant phase of the phase in their life cycle is the gametophytic. Then sporophyte, the spores of this sporophytic generation, the spores of the sporophytes undergoes meiotic cell division and produces a multicellular, again produces a gametophyte. So thereby their life cycle continues. Then economic importance, that they are used for herbaceous animals. They can provide peat, so that can be used for the fossil and they can be used as a packing material. Then they are the mosses along with the lichens. Mosses along with the lichens, they were the first to colonize on rocks. They helps to reduce the soil